guys are interested in gamer moms, huh? Trying to turn your own parents into gamers so that they don't look down on your hobbies. I didn't even try to get her into it, she just sort of did. We're waiting on one, possibly two more people. Not really sure if they're actually showing.
What does your mom play?
Everything. What do you play, Mom?
I play all kinds of things. Usually she'll find the game first, and then she'll say, "Oh, you got to try this," you know.
You're very monkey see, monkey do. So.
Well, today I was playing the
Prototype.
which I guess is an older movie. I think it's in 2009. I mean, game.
What?
How'd you like it?
Well,
She
just
just
approves of the
officially
kill
started.
everybody.
Huh?
It's getting late.
It's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. I like games that give you an opportunity to follow different paths to get to the same ending.
Okay.
Okay?
And it's funny because Prototype is actually quite sandboxy.
Well, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, the storyline, yes, you have to do certain things in order to accomplish the storyline, but you do have a lot of different alternatives on how to accomplish your goals.
Do
Do
you
you want
like
to tentacle rape them or do you want to smash the crap out of them?
Yeah, I'm always concerned with carpal tunnel.
Okay.
So I like things that have a nice long storyline to them, or
So you can
a
put-
well-developed storyline to them. I'm not too interested in stuff that's just smash
You
and
don't like
kill
fighting
away.
games.
Pardon?
You don't like fighting games.
Fighting games that are strictly fighting games? No. No, I really like a story because it gives you a break in between
Yeah.
each of the actions in order to rest your hands and your eyes. Yeah, and
So you actually follow the health warning? that the
Say
kids
again?
come with? Do you follow the health warnings that come with the game? Taking a
No.
break every bit?
No.
no.
You should
If
see her
I-
play Minecraft for 10 hours straight. Oh
She
my
did?
God. Oh my God. Every game that I bring home, she gets completely obsessed with and plays like hours on end. She did it with Minecraft, she did it with Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Final Fantasy 12 or 13, Oblivion, Skyrim.
Well, Oblivion, the original Oblivion.
Yeah, that was
Play on the
basically her
computer.
gateway drug was Oblivion.
That you play on the computer. That's why I'm concerned with carpal tunnel because it gave me a trigger.
Yeah, see when she plays, she goes like crazy. Like I have a Let's Play channel and I've actually started to upload some videos where we're playing games with her.
Yeah.
And you can see for yourself that she just like
Oh, that is
goes
funny.
crazy.
Well, I played Oblivion for a year and a half because there's enough storylines in it and enough side stories, you know, that you can actually find a lot to do in it.
Yeah.
Now, Assassin's Creed, the new one, I don't know what's the name of it. 3,
Yeah.
where he's in
Native American. Yeah.
Native American history.
Here's business cards for my Let's Play video game channel if anyone likes that kind of thing.
I didn't care too much for it because there aren't enough side games in it, enough side
Well,
stories.
there's side games, but there's nothing to the side games.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Have you ever done Fable?
Oh yeah, she played all the Fables.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How'd you like it?
Yeah.
How'd
She
your mom
doesn't
like
remember the names of the games.
it? How'd your mom like it?
She played it a lot, so I assume she liked it.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember it by that name.
Fable, yeah, you played 1, 2, and 3. It's the one where you like be good or evil, and you can be like magic, or you can do combat. And you have like the wives. Yeah, you were evil. You were evil because she was like she accidentally killed somebody, and she was like, all right. So she like slaughtered the entire town.
Wow.
You don't remember that? I remember that.
About 2 weeks ago, I played through Halo, Reach,
All the Halos.
Halo, well, 3 of them. I played through them on my
Again.
relaxation time. Because
Yeah.
what I've always enjoyed about the games, now I just retired in January, so, but prior to that,
More time.
I'd come in and I would play because the job I was in was a complaints department. So I listened to complaints all day.
Oh.
But you know, the customer's always right, so you can't really argue with them, you know, you try to help them resolve whatever the problem was, because I worked for the post office. So we get a lot of complaints. On rare occasions, we actually got a compliment. And so I'd come home at night and I love to blow things up, you know, and and yell at people, so to speak, because you can't really do it at work.
Hey, better on a video game than going close to a person, huh?
Yeah, so it's, so that was really the enjoyable part about it.
Yeah.
Come when you take all your
Well,
frustrations
that's when
out.
it's the real first. I need to get one.
I'll be honest, I tried retail for a while and I had to quit each one because I was just like, I can't do this. I would tell people, you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong.
Well, I was with the post office for 33 years.
Oh wow, dedication.
In a lot of different departments.
Oh, okay.
But in the complaints department, about 17 years.
Oh.
And then she would come home and play a video game and just be like, die, die, die.
Well, what most people would ask, they'd say, well, how could you do that? And I say, well, because it can be very rewarding to help people resolve a problem that they haven't been able to get resolved.
Oh yeah.
There is a lot of positive to it. So.
There's also a lot of people cussing you out because their mail's a day late.
Yeah, I just, once in a while, and this is off subject, but once in a while I just say,
Are they going to show up?
how can they be complaining about that? Don't they have anything bigger in their life?
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
And she's not able to make it, actually.
You didn't want to?
Yeah.
So, this is the gamer mom,
All right, well,
apparently.
come in, let's get a little closer.
So,
Yeah, be closer.
okay, fine.
I don't feel like I'm yelling at you.
Well, you're yelling to them. Yelling at them because you hate them all. Oh God, I'm looking straight at the light. I can't sit there. Okay, so I guess we'll officially start since the other two professional gamer moms didn't show up.
Aw.
So, hello everybody. Welcome to Gamer Moms. We don't have a very clear goal for this panel, but basically we wanted to talk to gamer moms, find out how they got into gaming, maybe what their differing opinions are about gaming from us, the younger crowd, what kind of games you like. So you kind of already touched on it, but you want to try an introduction?
Expand?
Try an introduction. Hi, my name is Sarah.
Hi, my name is Sarah McKeever. I live in Santee. This happens to be my daughter, but
A total accident.
yeah. And probably I wouldn't be that long
Unclear
in
about it.
games except that she introduced me to them. And I've already told you that one of the reasons I like it is I like to be able to come home and blow things up and basically yell at people, because you can't do it all day in the type of job I was in. As much as you want to, you have to stay civil. And I actually have a lot of opinions about games.
Boy, does she ever.
Like she brought home the Auto Theft series and
Grand Theft
Grand Theft Auto. And
You had a great time running people over. That was a whole
Oh,
lot.
the only thing I would do is drive the cars as fast as I could, see how many accidents I could avoid and/or get into.
Like the near miss thing in Saints Row. I don't know if you played Saints Row. It was the one that was like Grand Theft Auto, but was like crazy, and like you could have a giant purple dildo as your weapon. And
No, I didn't. I think I remember
But
that.
yeah, that one like I liked it because it had the near miss when you would drive really close to vehicles and not hit them, and you get points for it. So it actually validated my crazy driving. But anyway, because you were saying you like driving.
Well, the reason I avoided the storyline was I don't like the vulgarity. My personal opinion and something I grew up with is that the more often you hear something, it becomes accepted. So I really think younger kids shouldn't be playing things like that because there's this constant stream of vulgarity in it. And when you hear it all the time, like I said, it starts to become acceptable.
And then it slips out in the middle of a job interview.
Yeah, and it slips out in the middle of a job interview, and you use a word or a phrase or a gesture that's really not going to endear you to the employer, whoever the interviewer is, and you may not even know that that's why you didn't get the job. Because they just don't like your language, and they're not necessarily going to tell you that. And in a related matter is what you're doing on Facebook and things like that, because employers are really looking at those things now. They are really looking. They look you up, and they see what does this person say online.
Even though that's technically illegal.
Oh, I don't know why it's illegal. If it's on Facebook, it's open to the public. What
Well,
would make it illegal?
Anyway, tangent. Games.
Okay, so anyway,
She doesn't play Facebook games, by the way. She plays video games.
Yeah, I like Halo, the series.
What's a game you don't like? Because you like everything.
Well, you know which ones I don't like. I don't like real linear games. And there've been.
And yet you played the crap out of Final Fantasy 13.
Oh, that's not linear.
The beginning is.
Well, the beginning might be. But now the Final Fantasy.
First 10 hours.
The Final Fantasy ones. The only thing I didn't like about them, I thought they were the ones that I played. I haven't played them all. I thought they were a little too complicated. You know, that's the one that we actually had to buy the book for, and which was this thick, so that you could figure out all the different powers and skills and how they combined and where you had to go to find a certain item. I thought it was awfully complicated, but it was also very interesting.
Yeah.
Particularly as I looked through the book and found different combinations. Like I'd find a boss that just was impossible to beat using the skills that I had acquired. So I'd have to go to the book and I'd say, okay, what I'm doing is not working. You know, so what does it say in the book that I have to do to combine to get this boss? And kind of in relationship to this, I was thinking about the things about games that what's pro and what's negative. You could actually say that doing a lot of violent games, I think it does desensitize people toward violence. Yeah, if you're an adult, you want to come and you want to blow things up and you want to scream at people and you want to smash people. You know, it's a good way to relieve some tension. But the young mind is very susceptible to the power of suggestion. And so I really think there's a lot of games that aren't appropriate for small children.
Yeah, people look at a game and then they think that little kids are going to see it the same way that they do. But, you know, like watch Rugrats, you know, when you're little, everything is a lot more realistic than you necessarily should understand. And so it's not fair to stick a 10-year-old or 5-year-old in front of Call of Duty and expect them to be like, oh, this is a video game. I can do stuff in here that I can't do in real life. You know, that's unfortunately, I think that is true. And unfortunately, violence in video games is such a hot topic and people automatically take one side or the other. You know, all video games automatically make everyone into a mass murderer, or video games don't affect you at all. And it's a complicated issue influenced by, you know, your grasp of reality and how old you are. So it'd be nice if people took that into consideration. Sorry, there's nobody else here, so I'm like trying to relieve her of some of the talking.
No, that's okay. And the other thing I have to have been thinking about this morning was that you can be led down a false road by playing too many video games or too much of the same kind of video game. And the road that I'm talking about is what is reality and what's not reality. And if you play a game where you can always go back and repeat the story because you made a mistake.
Raise your hand if you derp and then you're like, oh, Control-Z, wait, this is real life.
Okay, we got some volunteers down there. You know, you get to thinking that yes, things have consequence, but I can always go back and do it over again.
And that's why you like Dark Souls. Although Dark Souls is easier than Demon Souls.
You know, but I didn't finish those because
you got to the very end, and then there was some super hard boss, and you couldn't finish it. So she started the entire game over again.
No, the thing is that in relationship to that was that there were too many steps getting to the boss.
Yeah.
And the boss would kill me in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So then I have to go back and go through all these steps again to get killed again in 3 seconds. So I said, you know, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to go through all those steps again to get to the boss. You know, if it'd take me back to just maybe one step before him, that would have been okay.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, then you come into the issue of checkpoints. And it's like checkpoints are their own demon because in some games, I mean, again, raise your hand if you've had situations where you get a checkpoint right before a boss, right after you used up all your items. And then you're stuck and you have to restart the entire level because, you know, you're stuck in a bad situation. But then, you know, the far end of that is games like Skyrim where you can save anytime you want. You know, I think you can even save in the middle of battle in Skyrim. And that really, I actually did a video about this where I think that making yourself avoid saving as much as possible actually makes the games more enjoyable because it puts consequence back into the game. But at the same time, the reason that people say Dark Souls is so difficult, it's not the mechanics or anything, it's the fact that you can't pick when to save. That's what makes that game so difficult. And the fact that, you know, you lose all your souls when you die, but you don't lose your level and you don't lose your items. So when you think about it, it's not that hard. So, I don't know.
And of course, the other disadvantage was something where you can't save when you want to. The thing about Oblivion was, I'd get up maybe at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'd leave for work at 6:30.
Yeah, you play small
I'd be ready to
segments.
go, you know. And then, you know, I got 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I'll sit and I'll play a game for 10 minutes. And then I can save, then I can go. But if you've got something where you have to get to a certain point before you can save it, hey, you're not going to play it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, I was playing a mobile game last night called Aquaria, something like that. I got it off of a Humble Bundle, and it's a checkpoint system for a mobile game. Like really? Like you have to sit there on your phone for half an hour before you can save? And I just thought that was really strange.
I just want to go back to a second to what I was talking about before about the idea of reality versus non-reality. And I was every so often, if I have played for quite a few hours, and sometimes I did. Just to tell you, I've had 3 operations. What do? You sit there and play games, you know, because you can't really move around a lot.
No soap operas for her.
And so, you know, I might play the game for 4 hours or maybe even 6 hours. I have on occasion played it all day, you know, with some breaks in there.
Yeah, from like 6 in the morning to like 12 or 2 in the morning.
So
Bathroom break?
when you play that long, though, your mind gets in a certain mindset that I'll go get in the car and it's like, okay, I have to remember now, I can't run into another car.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm going to have an accident.
Sleeping dogs. Who played sleeping
I'm going to
dogs?
die, or they're going to die, or the car's going to get smashed, or, you know, can't go, got to stay in this lane.
Yeah, who played Sleeping Dogs? The one that's set in Hong Kong? Anyone? Yeah. I got obsessed with that game, and for like weeks afterward, I'd be like, which way do I turn? Because you drive on the opposite side of the street in that game, so it really does. And you know, if that affects you as an adult that much, not to go back to an earlier point, imagine the little kid. You know, there's a lot of bleed effect. Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with violence when the age group is appropriate. But it goes reiterate.
You mean when parents actually pay attention to the age rating?
Well, you know, she was in the store. She was in what was it, GameStop?
I go down to the room down there, and there's like 5-year-olds playing. So I'm like, really?
And she actually saw one kid who was going to buy or wanted. What was the game that they wanted? It was a real violent one.
Oh,
I remember
yeah, I
she
don't
said-
know. It's
she
like
says, you know,
Battlefield or something.
You might not want to get that from her. She was a little tiny kid, and the mother was very incensed that she would even suggest that she not buy that for her 7-year-old or 6-year-old or whatever. You know, it was kind of, you know, you have to use a little bit of common sense. Kids are not the same as adults, and I even have in the 18 to 20-year-olds.
Some are dumber than others.
Yes. Some of them are not as mature as their age should indicate they are. But really the mind changes. So I actually have less problem with sexual innuendo and things like that. I don't know why everybody goes crazy over that kind of stuff.
Most of the kids don't even catch the jokes, so it goes right over their head. It's like, you know, Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, those shows from our youth in like the 90s. There were so many adult jokes hidden in that, but the kids watching it have no idea, you know? And it's like, it requires a little more intelligence because you have to be kind of subtle about it, and you can totally get away with that, so.
Looney Tunes had that sort of thing too.
Which
I just
one?
want to bring that up.
Yeah.
Equal
Well,
those cartoons.
Yeah. And they do it in cartoons, why don't they do it in games?
Maybe I have any particular questions?
Yeah.
How long have you been playing? Approximately?
Well,
Well,
quite
when
a few years.
when I was little, she would step in sometimes when I'd be playing like Sega Genesis. Like I remember playing Echo the Dolphin, and I was scared of the aliens. So anytime I get to the alien, I would pause and be like, "Mom, kill the alien!" But yeah, after that, you didn't play.
Yeah,
anything
Echo
until
was
the
one of the
end.
early ones.
Yeah.
We did as she was growing up was, this is what kids are going to be doing. So rather than try to pretend it doesn't exist or keep it away from them, better to monitor what they're doing, get them the appropriate games. Like we had a Mickey Mouse one where Mickey has to climb the ladder. Now, my poor husband will probably be embarrassed to death, but
You're there, it's all there,
he climb the ladder. And she and I can do it. He's not going to play Mickey Mouse anymore. I can't get him to climb the ladder.
Yeah, he is not a gamer. He plays a little bit of Wii Sports, but unfortunately he doesn't have the coordination. Not that we really do either, but.
Well, I see a lot of value in a family around the Wii series, in particular, where you're actually doing physical things. But she and I will play together.
Mm-hmm.
And lots of times,
Local co-op, local co-op, local co-op. Come on, game companies. Why do you keep expecting us to
I
like?
have to agree. It's not the same as playing online
Yeah.
with everybody else.
There are way too few
What
games.
happened to the days where you can just sit on the couch with your friends or family?
Greed happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so why do you think it is that they want everything online? Do you think it's because of piracy, or do you
I think it's because they want to make people have to buy more systems. Honestly, that's the only thing I can figure out. Because like, why else would you not have local co-op? Like we bought Dead Island, local co-op. We bought there's like a bunch of other stuff. Like all I can think of that has local co-op are a couple of shooters and like I don't know, Smash Bros. Like there's very few games that have local co-op.
Well, maybe that's why I keep going back to Halo, where we can
Yeah, Halo's
other
one of the few.
campaigns, as opposed to the storyline, but we can play together.
No, the campaign is-
Don't forget the Mario games too, especially
Yeah,
the new
but-
Super Mario Brothers games.
That's platforming. You like games with story.
So,
I can't get her to
She
look
had
at
a
it
chip
over
question
there.
back there.
I have a question about, I have an 11-year-old that's into Minecraft.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
I think
Total
Minecraft
addiction.
is wonderful for kids.
Yeah, it's just that how many hours did you limit your own daughter to playing? We're down to 2 a day, 2 hours.
2 is probably adequate,
Okay.
and you want them to get outside.
Depends on what he does
yes.
in Minecraft too. Is he building?
Now, do
Yes,
you-
he's building.
and do
He's
you
not
play
killing
with
other
him?
people.
Redstone.
Yeah.
Do you play with him?
No, I have a lot of motion issues, and so I get sick when I watch it. So my husband can, but we're
Because
sort of
we're-
over that. We were into that when we were 14 and 15, with the video games, digged up and stuff. So we're not addicted like he is, but.
Yeah.
Minecraft is very creative.
Yeah.
It's kind of unique and I do think it's a little overrated, but it's nice because it's like Legos, but you don't have to keep buying more Legos. You
Yeah.
have like infinite amount of Legos. And also, like you can fly, so you can like do completely different structures that you can't realistically do. And then you can actually walk through your creations. So it's a creative game.
We haven't been playing Minecraft that long. How long has it
Only
been
since
out?
it came to Xbox. You never played it on PC.
Yeah, but I always thought it would be an excellent type of game to have in school, okay? Maybe in the science room, because, if you play Minecraft, water doesn't flow the way real water does. So it would make a really interesting science project to have a little Minecraft. The kids are gonna play it anyway, why not incorporate it? They're gonna play it anyway. So why not incorporate it and say, okay, what's real here, what's not real here? And be able to show that in the classroom. They maybe just have them play for 10 minutes,
That's impossible.
And well, I'm talking about in the classroom.
Yeah.
Limit in the classroom. Yes, sir?
Some schools actually do let kids play Minecraft for experiments and stuff like that.
In your class, is that what you said?
No, and some schools do it, and if you play Minecraft, it's an easier way to understand the elemental table or whatever.
Well,
Thank you. Table of elements. It's got obsidian and iron and diamond.
Now, do they discuss in the class? Do they discuss the difference between reality and what's in the game? Because, like for instance, water can be really tricky in Minecraft.
Yeah. Put a ladder and it'll float over the ladder.
Yeah, my science teacher does explain that Minecraft isn't exactly like real life. And another thing he says is it may be fantasy violence, but it's just fantasy violence. It's spiders.
Well, and you can play it on easy, you know, when you play it on easy.
You can play it on peaceful or creative.
It's boring to play
or
on
stuff.
peaceful. I fall asleep. And actually, if you really are interested in that things, I highly recommend this indie game called From Dust that came out, and it actually is all about like, yeah, you have the different elements, and you have to like save the villages. So you have to, there's lava, and you have to like put the water. Of course, the people are kind of dumb. There'll be like a single rock in the way, and they'll be like, I can't cross this, kind of like The Sims. Other than that, it's actually very, very
What's it
good.
called? What's it
It's called From Dust.
From.
Oh, from
Yes,
dust.
it's
Oh.
on
That's a
Steam.
foam dust of
I don't know
Sorry,
if it's on
I don't
Xbox,
think
but I
it's
know it's on
on
Steam. So,
And
and
since-
it's only like $10. So.
And since she brought up the Sims series, that was really some of the earliest ones that we did.
Yeah.
Where you're building a city.
Yeah,
And the
Sim
one-
Towers,
That's
Sim
what- yeah, Minecraft
Tower.
reminds me
Where
of
you
that.
have to keep in mind, okay, the bugs are gonna attack if you don't get over there and clean or whatever the term. It's been a while since I played, but, you know, I thought that was excellent. And then the financial aspect of it too, where you could buy and sell in it. You had a question or statement?
I read an article a few years back about parents who allow their kids to play the Sim series as far as like Sims Life and so forth.
Oh, Sim Life. That was the terraforming one, wasn't it?
The
Sim Life?
I'm talking about the Sims where you control the family, not like Sim
Oh,
City
the
or-
Sims. Okay,
Yeah,
never
the
mind.
Sims. And they were saying how parents should, you know, every once in a while checking out what their kids are creating and what kind of families they're building and what these people have as jobs because
Yeah. I mean, how many
sometimes-
people take their Sims and then kill them? And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe we should be watching this guy.
And the article was saying how it's a reflection on where that teenager is in their life and how they view their life and how they want to view, especially if they need everybody in their virtual family as people in their family.
And then kill them.
Well, not so much kill them, but have different relationships going. And it was just saying that parents should really pay attention to that because at the end of the day, you kind of
It's like
create what you.
a portal to their psyche. or something,
Exactly, exactly.
Oh, this is freaky.
I'm not really into those kind of games.
Yeah.
If you're interested in the Sim Cities, there's a game that's on indie on Xbox that you can download, and it's Loot First, and there's a couple of them, but a couple of Loot First is basically like Sim City. So you're a warrior, and you're creating a city, and you're trying to protect people.
It's called Loot First.
Loot First.
Interesting. Loot first, then burn. Loot first, then burn.
Oh, loot first.
Hello.
Loot first.
Yeah, you're trying to protect the people inside the villages. You're trying to get people into the villages, and you're trying to destroy to keep other enemies and like.
Yeah, there's a lot of games like that. Like there's a series that I recently got into called Stronghold, 1, 2, and 3. Those are also very good. Either one. You already asked one, so how about you?
So like, personally for me, I do kind of get concerned. Like, I have baby cousins of my own who are big gamers. I'm very down like watches of them, make sure like, you know, they don't go crazy or anything. And it got me thinking about like the kind of games I had when I was a kid, like those educational games, like.
I wish they would do language ones.
Like,
Wouldn't that be
yeah.
awesome?
That would be really cool.
Like actually fun.
Like Freddy the Fish, Putt Putt, or the Third Grade Adventures. Like in elementary school, those were the kinds of games that my friends talked about.
Oregon Trail.
Yeah,
Oregon Trail,
exactly.
I loved
Now
Oregon
it's
Trail.
the Oregon Trail, the zombies. No, it really is. It's fun.
Even the
Oh.
Sims
Yeah,
are
it's
like
on Steam, it's on mobile.
like jewels or
Yeah.
be enough to build the brain.
So, so like my question is, do you think there should still be video game studios trying to make those types of games and maybe even possibly expand them more so that it doesn't feel so much of like an education system in a video game?
I think they need to merge the companies. They need to take the educational companies and they need to take actual game makers and help each other. I mean, you're asking her, you don't care what I think, but I don't understand why they don't do that, honestly. Like, why don't they take the educational company, you know, find an indie developer and be like, hey, we want to teach kids about this. How can we convey that idea? And then have an indie company that, you know, because there's a lot of indie companies out there that are making really great games. And why not make it educational while they're at it? You know, it can be fun. It can be fun and educational. Yay! But
I mean, they don't have to advertise it that way, other than in the reviews, they can certainly, the parents more than likely, because the kids aren't going to be reading it.
And that would really help the game because
they're discussing the review for the parents, you know.
Yeah, and that would really help the game stand out from the other indie games because it could be in parenting magazines and stuff like that, you know? Like it'd be a whole different aspect that they could advertise instead of just, it's a fun game.
Well, going back to Minecraft for a moment, they could actually come out with educational books to accompany the game. But in answer to your question, again, it goes back to the reality that the kids are going to play. So, and you made me think of one thing, which we haven't discussed. They don't play them in their room. She never played until she became an adult, what I consider an adult, in her room. In the living room, where you can monitor what they're doing, how long they're doing it, what they're seeing on there. Because let's be honest, most parents aren't going to sit there and watch the whole game. But if you're sitting and in the background they're playing and you're hearing and you're going, oh my God, is that what she's really listening to?
Don't give them a headset either, you know? Or you can give them a headset that like you can listen to them too and make sure that they are not being that stereotypical 10-year-old that's like calling everyone the F word and all this stuff. So
Yeah, the Skyping part is scaring me.
Well, every once in a while she'll go online and play with other people online, and I used to sit in the background, and as she got a little older, she'd say, does your mother know you're talking like that? Because she'd be playing with a 10-year-old or something. They'd identify themselves if they were like 8 or 9 or 10 years old. Does your mother
and they're so
know
proud
you're
about it too.
talking like
They're like,
that?
I'm 8 years old and I talk like a sailor. And it's like, you, okay, congratulations.
And I know even on occasion she's told them over the headset. She said, you know, if you're going to talk like that, she said, I'm not going to be able to play with you. It takes a lot of enjoyment out of the game. At least for me, it does.
Do you have a question?
Yes. So speaking of competitive gaming, do you do a lot of online competitive gaming, or do you kind of do it?
Oh yeah, she slays. No.
No, I really don't do the online things.
She panics. She panics.
Is it too competitive? Is there something that specifically?
Well, because most of them are shooter type things. You know, and it kind of goes back to, I don't know if you were here at the beginning when I was talking about at the beginning, that I'm always concerned with my hands and my eyes, but particularly my hands after having experienced a trigger finger from playing Oblivion. You know, the same motion over and over and over and over again. So I prefer something that has a storyline to it, so I get some rest in between there. When you do the online stuff, an awful lot of it is competitive. Now, Minecraft would be great. In fact,
you can do Minecraft competitively.
Yeah.
I don't like it because I hate when you like build a Taj Mahal and someone comes over and blows it up and it's like, okay, I'm gonna hunt you down, kill you, but.
But you can actually play Minecraft with other people, and she built a whole.
Well, he's talking
and
about
everything else.
competitive though, like when you play against other people.
I know.
Okay.
No, I don't play them.
Okay.
But those are the reasons.
And she panics, like I said. No. If you go to my channel and you watch the videos where we're playing Halo, like every time we come up to a group of enemies, she's like, no! She just freaks out. I'm like, it's like grunts, it's like 2 grunts. They would have to like shoot at you nonstop for 30 minutes to even kill you. And she's just like, oh no, make him go away. It's cute though.
I think you were also talking about wanting more G-rated video games, believe it or not. Like
I wouldn't say necessarily more G-rated, but
Better educational
but like,
games.
yeah, I mean like maybe like a game like Bastion, where it's like where like in that game it tells you the story of like this sort of lost civilization and like the people that are left behind.
Combat is very repetitive though, in Bastion, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's like I played it on PC. We haven't. No, it's a PC game. she hasn't really played a lot of PC games because she doesn't like sitting at the computer. She mostly plays console games.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, the
I
problem
like
with
sitting in the
Bastion,
lounge chair.
the problem with Bastion is it's very like she would hate it because it's like click, 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 click. Like I couldn't even beat that game because my hands were dead from playing
Yeah.
it.
You just like the story.
Yeah,
Which
particularly it's more like how the story is and how the plot progresses as you play
Yeah.
that story. And it also kind of ties into the gameplay of that as well, because as you defeat more levels, you're able to unlock like more places to cultivate the hub world that you go back to after every level. And I was thinking like, well, why can't they make more intricate stories like that for educational things? Because
Good question.
yeah, like I mean like
What's the deal, game devs?
like the only one game I ever finished from those educational games was I think like it was Freddy Fish and the missing sea kelp recipe or something.
I don't know any of
but
those
it's-
games. I played real games. I'm sorry.
But it's like, yeah. Well, I mean, this was from when I was a kid, but like, I still remember vividly like going through that game and like talking to all the crustacean creatures who were like having trouble, and then you had to be like a good old citizen, help them out.
And turn it into sushi.
Yeah, I mean, it was more straightforward and like you should act like a good person, but if it did it more subtly as like,
Well, there's a lot of games now that have the morality thing.
Yeah.
So you have the option to be good, and that could be similar to what he was saying, where you can see what kind of characters people make, and that might indicate something about their personality. Not necessarily, but I know for like me in particular, I can't play evil characters. I feel so bad.
Well, it
Like-
drove her crazy when she started playing the curve one, the prototype.
Prototype, yeah.
Because if
The
you
people
ever-
are so dumb.
Well, if
you
you
can't
ever-
not kill innocent people.
That's what you're driving the tank and you're trying hard not to kill the civilians, you know.
And they just run straight into the tank
And they
and
run
die.
right in front of the truck, right in front of the tank.
I was like, fine,
This
you want to
gentleman-
be
this gentleman had
dead?
a
You're dead
question
now.
or a
Congratulations, you are now under my tank in little pieces. You got what you wanted. Let's move on.
He had a comment.
Yeah, going back to like the educational, I mean, for sure can be done, I think. I know there's the Assassin's Creed series. I mean, they're violent.
Oh, yeah,
and they have sexual
definitely.
innuendos.
She really likes that,
and
too.
for adults, obviously. However, they do mix a lot of historical data in there and whatnot, and they're fun games.
Oh yeah, I know. Like
I'm hoping that it's true, the
It's
stuff they
awesome.
have.
Like, went through it, just get to get
Oh,
feeling.
no, I found them pretty interesting. There are several things that I learned there that I did not know, as far as, they'll put like things that actually happened in history, and then they'll, put some
Landmarks,
fantasy or
figures.
fiction and put it into the story.
Mhm.
So
But
for sure.
it is violent.
Yeah, it's
You know,
very
It's
violent.
not something
It's for
I'd
adults.
recommend for small
For sure.
children.
No. But
Because
if they
the whole
were-
thing is you're a killer.
Yeah.
Or an assassin.
But if they were, for sure, I mean, they could be able to take that and make it into something educational, where kids could learn something and whatnot, make it something that's
Yeah,
not,
make
has
a
no violence.
non-assassin version of Assassin's Creed. Make just a Creed.
A friendly Creed.
A friendly Creed. Fun-making Creed.
There was
Friendship
a
is
game
magic.
15 years ago or so, it's called Phantasmagoria. It's unlocking. I loved it. It
What
had a
was the name of it
story.
again?
Phantasmagoria.
Phantasmagoria had a story. It had a haunted house. It had going to different levels, asking different characters, for clues. And I just love that kind of game. I don't like playing these shooting games.
Well, like
I
the
love
different-
zombies, but I don't want to shoot things. That's
Well,
just
have you
me.
played the Walking Dead games?
No.
Okay, because
From
that
Pennsylvania.
proves that there's still a market for interactive storytelling type games where, if you don't want to or you can't handle shooters, you can still enjoy
It's
it.
boring. It's like a bad movie.
Yeah, and
Oh, I good
the
script.
reason that Walking Dead is so famous is that
Yeah.
they did a really good job of writing the stories, and it has a bunch of branching paths, and even when it doesn't branch, it seems like it does, so you think you actually affected the story. And it's great that the games are doing so well, and it's like, why don't we take that and apply it to not zombies? I mean, like, I love zombies, but there are many worlds out there, like educational, like, why don't you have a situation? I remember reading a long time ago, a really small snippet. There was a Native American tribe that hired an indie company to make a video game where all the characters spoke the language, the native language of these Native Americans, and there were no subtitles. You had to learn the language to play the game, and they actually commissioned this game because they wanted their kids to learn the language so the language would become a dead language. And I thought that that was kind of amazing. Like, why don't they do that with a lot of stuff, you know? Why don't they do that for everybody? Like, I want to play that game. I don't know what it's called, but that sounds awesome. I could learn a Native American language. I could learn about their culture. And Walking Dead proves that, you know, you could do stuff like that, so.
There's a gentleman in the back.
Yeah, a couple things. First off, a comment on the whole morality system you brought up. I'm kind of on the same page with you on just going for the good side. Mass Effect.
Don't you feel bad when you kill somebody and you're like, oh.
Well, Mass Effect, at least the first two I played, I avoided the third one because I heard a lot of bad things about it. Like, they changed so much that deviated from the original. I love the second one the best, but yeah, I just can never bring myself to turn my main character to a renegade.
But see, Renegade's not even bad necessarily. Renegade's just like rough. I don't know. I feel different about Paragon and Renegade because, like, for instance, there's some really cool sequences where if you do have Renegade, like the one annoying chick who constantly like does the news interview and she like insults your character and everything. In the third one, there's a spot really early on where she starts doing that, and if you have enough points of Renegade, you have the option to clock her. And it's, I don't know. The cold I guess, yeah.
I never played the third one, so
yeah.
I avoided it. Another question. You said you're into story-driven games. Are you also into more comedy-driven ones? Like, if you want to go in for some really good laughs, and if so, which ones?
Yeah, what games are those?
I don't know.
Like anything in particular? No, I was going to bring up a few PC games like the Monkey Island series, but then you mentioned you're not into PC gaming, so.
Well, she only just recently got a laptop that's capable of it, so now she can. But
I would suggest those because those are a hoot.
Yeah,
basically.
Monkey Island games are really well known. Those are kind of like the Walking Dead ones where you basically just like click. You interact with the environment. You don't really.
LucasArts in particular has pretty much become the studio that has defined the point-and-click adventure genre.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Oregon Trail is pretty funny. It makes fun of Oregon Trail.
The Sam & Max series are just creatively strange, basically. I mean, I just love how bizarre the comedy and the storytelling is.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about comedy, but as far as point-and-click goes, we were pretty into Myst for a while. Myst and Ribbon.
Yeah.
So those are classics, and they just did a HD release again of Myst, I think.
On the morality subject.
For anybody else, I can't really see. Sorry.
Huh?
I can't really see, so if anybody else has their hand raised, just let me know.
Oh, okay. On the morality question, I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer for the newest Rainbow Six that'll be coming out, or isn't coming out, but they decide to do it.
You have to talk a little louder.
Oh,
I can't
sorry.
hear very well.
The next Rainbow Six game, it's a shooter. You haven't played it
Rainbow
yet.
Six.
So in this one, what they're doing completely different, which they've never done with the series, is they're giving the player the option to make life choices. For instance, a terrorist group comes in and takes a banker from his home and threatens that they'll kill his wife and daughter if he doesn't put on a bomb vest and run to a park. Well, he gets caught on the bridge, and the team is unable to defuse the bomb in time. So the choice is, do you try to defuse the bomb anyways and die, or do you make this conscious decision of, I need to throw this guy over the bridge? And how do you guys feel about games that go in that route, as far as really
Making you have to make it hard
forcing you to
decision.
make a more ethical choice?
Well, you played DSX, Human Revolution. That one was the one where you could pick either, like, you could pick lethal weapons or you could pick non-lethal weapons at the start of each mission. And I don't know, did you pick the lethal or the non-lethal?
I think I probably did both at one time or another.
Probably.
Most of the games I've played
Yeah.
more than once. And like maybe if I play the first time through being the nice guy, maybe I'll be the violent one next time.
And then
It kind of depends on the story though too, because you get a different story sometimes with some of them. Oh, I can't tell you specifically which ones. I'm really bad with the names of the stories. You know, I just know what I like and I don't like.
And then touching up on that, I don't know if you guys have played the Mass Effect 3 series. When the beginning of the
You
game,
were playing the first
I
one.
played Mass Effect, but
You only played the first one, I think. And you got bored with it, I think. You were playing like halfway through and you're like, I'm gonna play something else.
well, it may go back to the linear. I don't remember how linear that one was, but the Resident Evil ones. I couldn't get past the first beginning of it because you have to outrun the plane that's crashing, you know.
So I said, that's why
stopped
co-op
playing.
is nice because I can help her point, past parts that she gets stuck. But yeah, because you played 5, you played 6, and I tried to get you to play 4, but you were like, nah, it's too hard.
but how do you guys feel about in Mass Effect 3? What happened is at the beginning of the game, the main character tries to pull this child out from an air duct, but when his attention is taken away, the child runs off. Well, as a character, taking off for safety, a Reaper ends up blowing up this craft that had the child on it. I mean, the child was on there. So how do you guys also feel about games that are starting to incorporate some of these things?
I was gonna say because like Assassin's Creed is like that. Spoiler: Ezio's whole family dies.
Yeah. So
yeah,
so,
I remember that part.
So
that
how do you feel about now that they're also pushing the boundary with moral and ethics, also including children in this?
One of his little brother died. I remember that part in Assassin's Creed. I was like, they won't kill him. He's a kid. Oh my god, they killed him. So that was.
Do you guys feel like they should go into this? Like, is this something that
I think the question would go back to the age group because if you're concerned with what your child is learning from the games, you'd want to be cautious about what is it that this game is teaching. That's why I'm saying the game should be played in the living room. Maybe they're over here and you're watching TV. You want to monitor what they're doing because if they get
if they replay that section to watch the kid die over and over, that might be a bad thing.
I know he's telling us we got to wrap it up, right? You know what she said?
But it's so fun.
It concerned me. This is it's not a game, but my nephews, one in particular, kept watching what's the one about the, I can't think of the name of it now.
Describe it.
It's about the lambs, slaughter of the lambs. You know what I mean?
Silence
Silence
of the Lambs?
of the Lambs. Okay, there's a couple of scenes in there that are really, really violent. Watch them over and over again. And it's like, my sister was getting concerned. It was like their favorite movie, Silence of the Lambs. And particularly these scenes which were so violent. And so in relationship to games, you want to be able to monitor that. What are they watching over and over again?
And step in.
If certain sections of it, you might want to be concerned. If it's the whole movie.
Yeah, talk to them about it. Be like,
Oh, yeah.
do you know why you like this section? What is it about this that you keep, try to get them to open up and tell you what it is that draws them to it. Because maybe it's like something innocent, like, oh, I just like the cinematography. Not that the little kid would know the word like cinematography, but it could be something else, like, oh, well, I'm angry and watching this makes me feel less angry or something like that.
Little Dexter.
Yeah, little Dexter. That's scary.
So if anything
If
else.
somebody kills Jackass.
But as far as morality, I don't know, morality is a viewpoint, is a personal viewpoint of what's moral and what's not.
Yeah, we got very ethnocentric.
Society sets up what's moral. Okay, the United States, it's not moral, at least I don't think it is, to beat your wife. You go to another country, it's quite moral. They put the wife on the burial mound with the husband, whether she's dead or not, because she's his property. So morality comes down to what are the norms of the community that you're in, and is it something you want to accept or not accept? And so when you're looking at a game, is this a morality that you want to teach, that you want your child to see? I don't know. That's it. That question is a hard one to answer, I think.
That's why I threw it out there.
Yeah.
I like asking for that question for going to game here. Talk about moral and ethics, just throw that out there and see what are other people's opinions and ideas of that. So, But yeah, I think he wants to wrap it up.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks very much.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for giving my mom a chance to talk about her passions and her opinions. She's actually really shy, if you can't tell, so I'm very proud of her. And just a free plug, like I mentioned, I have a YouTube channel where I do Let's Plays and game reviews, and I do have her in some of the videos, so if you'd like to see her, I have business cards, and I can hand one to you if you like it. Okay.
Watch the camera.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your input too.
Yes, thanks for all the questions. I think we recovered pretty
Thank you.
nicely, considering we were all
Obviously, have a lot of things on your mind.